Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Perth Sevens. This one, the women's final between, you guessed it, New Zealand and Australia. It seems to happen every time at the moment on this Sevens circuit. It has been the final 3 times, 2 of which have been won by New Zealand. The other time, of course, Australia, seeing as it is that head-to-head. But it's happening again in Perth. These two sides went head-to-head last year for Perth 2025, and Australia won that game 28 points to 26. They've had some brilliant close battles along the way. Every once in a while, though, there is a one-sided outlier. We'll have to wait and see if this is the game that does occur. Looking through at the starting lineup for New Zealand, it is Georgia Miller, who has been sensational throughout this Perth Sevens competition. Stacey Waka, Kelsey Tanetti, also right up there in terms of overall try scorers for the whole of the comp. Risi Pauli Lane, the captain, Mahina Paul, Braxton Sorensen McGee, and Jasmine Felix Hotham, the last lady. And the starting side for the Australians, it is Heidi Dennis. She has got pure pace. Would definitely be one to keep an eye out for. Isabella Nasser, one of the co-captains, alongside Madison Ashby. Tia Hines, Maddie Levi, Faith Nathan, and also Tegan Levi. She looked like she had a bit of an injury in the last contest, but luckily is all right now and ready to go for this final. And go the Kiwis, says Colin, and come on the Ferns. Says Christopher in Australia versus New Zealand in Central Road. Says Kyle there. And yeah, it's been such a competitive final throughout the last little while. Both of these teams remaining undefeated throughout their group stage, as we are used to seeing at this point in time. Closest game for New Zealand was actually up against, I believe, the Japanese in the group stage. Should be a belter. Both teams dangerous as. But who's got gas in the tank, says Studs Race. Yeah, it is a good point. 40 degrees Celsius in Perth at the moment for these games. So luckily they've only played 1 game today, but they played all of yesterday, 3 matches in exhausting heat. So you wonder whether or not will these two sides be their regular selves, or will there be a little bit of that gas tank failing in the second half, which could lead to mistakes. And with that can bring tries for the opposition. It's always close regarding neighbours. Says Kyle there, and good game, neighbour. Please take it easy on our women's. Says JD, although Australia will feel that they have more than enough of a chance of being able to win this contest. Currently, the New Zealand national anthem is being sung. Will be followed by the Australian national anthem too, and then we're into this match of the Perth Sevens final. But do let me know your score predictions if you haven't already, ladies and gents. I'm undecided. I'll be honest. These two sides are so good at going back and forth. Australia have looked good in their group stage, and both teams look very solid in their semi-finals. We saw New Zealand get a big win over the French, and we saw the Australians get a big win over the USA. So for that reason, like, whoever just plays better throughout this 14 minutes will win. I don't think form comes into it. New Zealand on a big winning streak at the moment, so they will want that to continue. Kiwis will go hard out, says Bummy there. And also, let's go the Ferns, says Scott Dawson. That the Levi sisters, normally the tactic from New Zealand is to shut them down completely. They were talking to Charlotte Caslick only a few hours ago, and she said the goal for Australia has to be shut Georgia Miller completely out of this game if Australia want any chance of going on and getting the victory. New Zealand lost a couple of wickets, 52 from 40, says Studs Race, and the haka by itself takes as long as the game of sevens, says Rugby Ready. And normally for the Black Ferns, they will do the haka after. If they win the gold medal, which is only theoretically 1 game away. 14 minutes of rugby action about to take place for these two sides. The winner does more than likely keep that number 1 spot if it's New Zealand. If not, both sides will be on a tie for the points. And then I think New Zealand still sneak it on points differential, maybe. Who's taking this one, Hamish? Hard to beat Australia in Australia. When it comes to their ladies' side, they were able to win last year up against New Zealand, 28 points to 26. So I would say whoever misses a kick is probably going to lose this game. There we go. We'll say same amount of tries for both sides. Whoever kicks worse, they will lose in Perth. That's what we'll go with anyway. Whether or not we're correct, we're probably not. Let's be honest, my predictions are normally awful. Better than the bloke says, Naz Williams. How long until kickoff? Probably about 30 seconds, I would say, until we get underway for this contest. Perth has been a very warm place to play for this Sevens competition. They have come off a tough week in Singapore as well for these sides in terms of exhaustion. But we're now ready to go. Whoever wins, I want last year's final type of game. not that Singapore final last week. Yeah, I'm hoping it's close. Like, the last thing we want here is a one-sided game. And at the end of the day, the future of rivalries and kind of like competitive rugby in the Sevens really does rely on these two teams. Because group stage-wise, they just both dominate. They never end up in the same pool because of always being in the final. And then from there, it's just each and every week we see these two sides playing. But it's a high shot there on New Zealand by Tegan Levi. Big smile on her face after hitting the Black Ferns lady high. It looks like New Zealand are going to look for the quick tap here just outside of their 22, played by Braxton Sorensen-McGee. New Zealand allowing the Australians to come to them, and now looking to get this attack going with Mahina Paul. Step there from Risi Pauri Lane. Steps around two, goes to Georgia Miller, and she'll start to run up the middle of the field. It's a bit of a foot race, passes off to Jasmine Felix Otham. She's almost suplexed by Maddie Levi. A bit of a counter ruck there from the Australians too. Ball bounces out on their side and they get the penalty. That was in through the side from Tanetti. So Australia do get themselves that slight advantage. Now let's go, says Nars Williams. And at least the Ferns have good discipline, says Scott Dawson. Penalty now for Australia. We're going to see that counter ruck from the Levi sisters. As well as I think Tia Hines was in there. Madison Ashby. Now going off to the left-hand side. Now, what's that? That's an interesting tactic from Australia. They went for a box kick, ladies and gentlemen. They did manage to win the offside advantage, so I assume that is what the reasoning was behind it, but they went back for the quick tap now. Tegan Levi running sideways towards the near touchline. Bit of a counter ruck from Stacey Waka. Can't quite get it back. Isabella Nassar plays half. Now popping it up, Ashby, the two co-captains linking up. Quick hands from Australia, getting it out to Heidi Dennis. Now the one thing that New Zealand cannot afford is to let her have open space to run through. Here comes a foot race down the short side. Stacey Waka, did she get back on side? It looks like Georgia Miller has played that ball into touch anyway, so it will be Australia's line out, 25 metres out from New Zealand's line. It's a close one at the moment between these two teams. Not a huge amount of attacking time for New Zealand as of yet. But the defence, it is holding for now. It will be now the line out for the Australians. Intense game, says Jasmine, and co-captains in the team of seven seems bizarre. Says Rugby ready. I think it's just down to the fact that so many subs do get made. All trying to take that one quickly, throwing to the back, and it is straight enough, says the referee. Now breaking through the gap, Madison Ashby. Back up to her feet. Goes again. Tanetti took a bit of a shot to the jaw there, but going off right-hand side for Tegan Levi. This is where if they shifted out left, they might have a bit of space to be able to work with. I see a lot of Black Ferns right next to that breakdown, and that is exactly where Australia are going. Off to the left-hand side, Heidi Dennis sneaks through with her pace, and she will score the first try of this final. Australia take the lead in Perth. And that is the dream start here for the Australians. They've had a majority of the attack, so that is going to tire out New Zealand. They don't have 3 points, by the way. They have a few more than that, as they will have the full 7. With the nice, easy conversion. Oh, shucks, says Nazi Williams and Fiji. Yeah, they are playing just around the corner up against the South Africans. We are going to be covering that one on the channel too. Payne Haas was close to signing with the Warriors before Rabbitoh snuck in. Jeez, he would have been a big signing for the Wars, wouldn't he? Have they got anyone? I haven't actually seen who they've signed this year. Have they got any big players coming in that will be the ones to keep an eye out for? ARW. Australia look very crikey, says Socken. Got to feel good scoring a try in a home crowd during the final, says Rugby ready. And you know what feels even better? Lifting the trophy after the game. Australia have taken one step towards that. New Zealand will now know that they have to play catch up. They don't often have to throughout their games. That's a big collision with Tanetti from Madison Ashby. It's around the chest. Massive signings for South, says Nazi Williams. Georgia Miller, she spins through 2 tackle attempts. She's going to be in a foot race. And another Fen coming, trying to use that strip. She gets rid of her. Still going. She's clotheslined in the end. It's probably going to be a yellow card to Faith Nathan. But New Zealand score anyway. Georgia Miller, she just waits for people to engage to then push them off. The only way that Australia took her down was by clotheslining her. Which I feel like is a good tactic from back in the day, but doesn't really work in this day and age, as it does get you in a bit of trouble. But then, yeah, just slashing her down. was a pretty ugly collision with Faith Nathan. I'm surprised there was no warning for that. But it is going to be scored between the posts for Risi Poldy Lane. And that one has gone over, making the score now 7-0. So Charlotte Caslick was right. She said the best way for Australia to have a chance in this contest is to shut Georgia Miller out of it due to what she can do on attack. And Australia have not listened, because that was all Georgia Miller with an offload at the end. Jeeves just watched Fiji versus New Zealand semis highlights. Flying Fiji's Hammond, New Zealand. Says Jason, yeah, that red card of Akulia Rokali Soa. Oh, Georgia Miller got an ugly clean out there in the breakdown. The penalty goes the way of the Australians as well. It actually looked like she got hit kind of on the back of her head. They may just have to check her here, Georgia Miller. Australia getting the claws out. Says Boomy there. Now 80 seconds remaining. Even Stevens, 7-all between these two sides, which is exactly what everyone wanted. Let's be honest. Whether it was going to be split by 1 point or 7, that's about as far as we wanted it to be. TNA to NXT levels, says JD. But now, going off to all night once again. Why are they trying the box kick? They've tried it twice in a row here, and this time it is charged down yet again. You would think that they would have actually done a little bit of research there, Australia, because it was actually a kick that was charged down by New Zealand that resulted in New Zealand beating France by as much as they did. That was the turning point. So surely that's not the tactic, right? Or are we're acting like that didn't happen between France and New Zealand? But all love to Australia. Come on, the Kiwis, says Naz. We're going to see it here. Trying to go for the box kick there, Tia Hines. Georgia Miller right there next to the breakdown. Charges it down. Scrums and box kicks. Only missing the drop goal, says Thuds Rose. Well, to be fair, if the score stays the way that it is at the moment, we could see one later on in this game, Bats. But another sub being made here. Okay, there's going to be the scrum now with 20 seconds remaining. Pressure always be on us, Aussie. Says JD. Yeah, in front of that home crowd, they would love nothing more than to lift the title for back-to-back years. Okay, referee's pretty much said she will free kick them immediately if they don't bind. Like you said, Hamish, the team that kicks worse will lose, and that's Australia, says Rugby Ready. Now Braxton Soros and McGee goes off to the right-hand side. Mahina Paul just cuts a little bit inwards and then goes on the outside to Tanetti, who is in a foot race and a little bit of a stepping contest there. She shuts down Tegan Levi, fends her off, tell you what. They will not be happy about that defence. Australia multiple times throughout the first 2 tries from New Zealand have resulted in Australia being sat down while trying to pretty much defend. New Zealand getting their fins out for this final. Doing it effectively, 12 points to 7 now, while struts her down, says JD. Yeah, Tegan Levi was in front of her. And then from there, Tanetti just stepping and just shoves her off to the ground, slams her out of the way. Faith Nathan trying to finish off the tackle, but by then Tanetti was already over. And also push the button, says Mackie there. And that one's missed away to the side for New Zealand, so that is going to make the halftime score in this final 12 points to 7. In favour of New Zealand. Still plenty of time remaining though in this fixture. Can easily go either way for these two sides. Chance of a golden point game. Could be maybe just a little bit on the cards here. Nice. And also we have got get the first try in the second half, New Zealand. Go smash them, Aussie, says Jasmine. Yeah, this next kind of 2 or 3 minutes will be extremely crucial in this contest, because if we see New Zealand score next, you'd have to argue that Australia would take a massive, massive comeback to be able to get the win, definitely with this being finals footy. Whereas if Australia score first, which we have seen certain sides who were behind at halftime do, sometimes within 30 seconds, that can completely change how this game goes. I guess the New Zealand haka after the win, says Thomas there. Tries boxing her in, says JD. And also we have got the God bless those who are worthy of his blessings. Not one of those people. Thank you also, says Sock, and I'm dual citizen, so win-win. Oh, perfect. So you've got pretty much is it a ball in each court? But then who takes 2 balls to something? I guess, what's the saying? I always forget the saying. A ball in each court, a foot in each court, a hand in each. It's something to do with a court, isn't it? But either way, you're good because you got both sides covered. What's the saying? I can't even remember. Is it a ball in each court? Maybe. I don't know. But second half just about to get underway. New Zealand will be kicking off this one balls deep. That's not the saying, Seki. But now that one's not kicked off too far from New Zealand. Only the 5 metres it did travel, so it will go back for the free kick on the halfway line for New Zealand. Oh, that one's bouncing awkwardly. And Chapman's out, is he? Says Mackie. And yep, says Highlanders fan. Now, chance for Australia on the halfway line. The good news for New Zealand is they have not conceded within 30 seconds. Only because the free kick is taken now with the 30 seconds just now going over. Now going off to the left, Tegan Levi offloads it away to Faith Nathan. Here comes a foot race with her in Poultry Lane, and Poultry Lane wins it easily. Taking her down 22 metres out from the line, now playing halfback was Isabella Nasser. Going away to the right. See that Tia Hines has also made her way off the field at half-time, so an early switch for the Australians. Penalty awarded to the Australians due to New Zealand being offside. Taking the quick tap there, Tegan Levi, 22 metres out from the try line. Big lobby pass over the top to his sister, who gets wrestled into touch. Brilliant defence from Stacey Waka, who's done very well to shut down Tegan and Maddie throughout this contest thus far. Just getting rid of Maddie Levi, into touch she goes. And again, New Zealand's tactic of shutting her down as much as physically possible. Oh. That almost looked like that ball stayed in the field of play. So that's probably a lucky one for New Zealand there. Just looking at the replay, it was very much 50-50 overthrown there. Okay, free kick awarded to New Zealand due to the gap not being kept. Here's shut down Maddie. Looking dangerous too, though. Oh, they always dangerous. I got to watch them. Says Mackie. And yes, Stacey says Christopher. Yeah, defence, it's always A+. She looks like she's a little bit fatigued on the far side of the field, just taking a little bit of a breather. Now Felix Hotham goes across to the left-hand side. One more pass on. This is the chance here for New Zealand. It's a foot race again. And Tanetti, she doesn't lose too many of them. And it's the third try of the final for New Zealand. Tanetti gets another. Maddie got wheels, maybe. Says Mackie there, but so does Kelsey Tanetti. And that is her second try of the contest. 17 points to 7 at the moment in favour of New Zealand. Still time remaining on the clock, but it is not completely over. And I keep it up, girls, says Jasmine there. And she's done a little bit of a celebration afterwards. All that kicks missed away to the side. So it means now with 4 minutes remaining on the clock, 17 points to 7. We have got there, that's an excellent constructed try. Says Studs Race. Crowd enjoying the atmosphere in the stands. Definitely the ones who are in the shade. It is much better than being in the sun for the heat that they're dealing with. It is kicked off long by New Zealand into the Australian 22. If the Aussies want any chance of winning this game, they have to score within, I would say, the next minute and a half. Now going across to the short side. Tell you what, they had to make the tackle there, and it is again Stacey Waka who makes it. Maddie Levi now driving tackle on Resi Poultry Lane. New Zealand losing their footing. There's a knock on there in the breakdown. Unplayable, in fact, is the call from the referee. So it will now be Australia's scrum. What do you think going wrong with the Kiwi boys? Says MPT. Well, in that last game up against Australia, they just let their heads completely go. They ended up winning a crucial penalty up against Australia and then ended up starting that push and shove that got them yellow carded. And it just seemed like their heads weren't on the game. They were too busy trying to start little mini fights with the Aussies. And we have got there, you are though, bro. We are, wasn't assuming. Says Naz Williams. And we got this Kiwi, says Nazi. Come on, the Aussie, says Mackie. And there too. Now, Faith Nathan, 3 minutes left on the clock. Going sideways, ball's knocked out of the hands for Australia. And you could see the frustration as well for Australia. Rush defence. It was Henwood that managed to make the tackle there. Here comes Mahina Paul. Little shuffle there, passes across to the right. Netball style pass goes to Georgia Miller. They'll go back for the initial penalty again in favour of New Zealand. And also, crikey, lots of whistle in this one. There has been quite a few penalties throughout the first 12 minutes of this game. Now ready to kick it off again, or at least get that tap going for New Zealand. 2.5 minutes now left on the clock. Moving it off to the left. Pauri Lane goes to Felix Otham, passes to Caitlin Vahakolo. She's only made her way onto the field very recently and already gets a nice easy run and try to be able to score right behind the posts. Drew Miller is going to rule otherwise for some time. And please another try, Kiwis, and you can't beat Miller, she's too good. Yeah, that first try was just so impressive. Yes, she didn't score it, but she pretty much did with the way that she broke through about 3 or 4 Aussie defenders and just, like, her tactic is she kind of jogs. She doesn't sprint, it doesn't look like. She jogs, she waits for someone to catch up to her, chucks them to the ground, steps around another, and then sets up a try. Like, it just seems to be that she actually encourages contact. But currently 90 seconds left now. New Zealand leading this game 24 points to 7. This one has not gone anywhere near like it did last year, where Australia were able to win that game 28-26. New Zealand seem to have improved massively. Oh, that's another knock on from Australia. 70 seconds remaining. Pass back across to the right-hand side. Pauri Lane goes now with a little kick attempt at a mine. Georgia Miller chases after it, but it's cleaned up by Madison Levi. Trying to fend off Stacey Waka, who again gets her down. I feel like, once again, I know that we need to praise the ones who are scoring the tries. Taniti's got 2, Pauri Lane's got 1, of course. But you look at what Stacey Waka's done across most of the finals, and the way that she just takes Madison Levi out of the game completely by making those spot tackles. It takes at least 14 points away from Australia per match if you shut Maddie Levi out of it. It's something that the smaller or lower ranked sides try but can't quite do effectively. Yet Stacey Waka does it each and every week. Now, big spot tackle made there from Caitlin Vahakolo, and the penalty awarded to Australia. And shame she never got to play a Canadian game in the World Cup. So here's Mackie there. Any chance of beating New Zealand? Take Miller out. She's too good. Says Tom. I mean, they did clothesline her during the first try. Oh, loose ball picked up by New Zealand. And one more late in this game. It is Saili who does score it off of the bench. So that's going to add some additional points. New Zealand celebrating it on the sideline. And you can see the disappointment from Australia here with the fact that this game has ended up not even close, just similar to the group stage fixtures for both of these sides. Stacey Waka signed with the New Zealand Warriors. You're a great commentator, bro, says Nazi Williams. Still appreciate it. Of course, we've still got one more game just around the corner. That one is going to be between Fiji and South Africa. A huge men's final. But they're just showing there. Maddie Levi tried to go for the offload, and it just sits up nicely for Saele to be able to take and put it over there and score the 5th try of the contest for New Zealand. So they will get themselves the gold medal. Australia finished with the silver yet again. And I believe the French managed to finish with the bronze in this competition. Another trashing. Australia are used to it now. Yes, I knew the Kiwis would do it. They are hungry. Hamish, you are simply way ahead of the other commentators. Thanks to you for the men's final, says Jason. So yeah, that men's final has taken place in only around 5 minutes' time. Or at least that is when we are starting our stream. I believe we'll have about probably 9 minutes of build-up or somewhere around there. But a great performance from the Black Ferns Sevens. Getting themselves another win over Australia. They now create a little bit of separation between them and second place in the overall standings. But once again, it was a massive effort from this New Zealand team. I just watched the end of the cricket closer than I wanted to start race. And also I rub my nipples every time Hamish commentates. You must have pretty sore nipples then, because we did 12 hours of commentary yesterday. So like surely at some stage you go, actually maybe I'll stop doing that and just watch the rugby instead. Thank you, Hamish. You're awesome, says Bummy. And there too. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We will transfer. We might as well go straight over to the next live stream. We will start that up in about a minute's time. Ready to go for Fiji versus South Africa. But nonetheless, I will see you guys all in about a minute's time.